Well, I'm going to do an update on that UCLA student that got tasered to hell and back. I have to read this article because it's too long to memorize. As reported by the Los Angeles Times, I'll put the link to the article in the comments section, on 3:09 Pacific Standard Time, January 17th, 2007. The staff writer Andrew Blankstein reporting. So, this is 2 months after the initial incident. The UCLA student tasered in the Powell Library and refused to show his identification to campus police today filed a federal lawsuit alleging that his civil rights were violated and the police acted in a brutal fashion. In the 16-page lawsuit, Mostafa Tabata Benajad, I'm going to call him the student from this point on because that's just a hell of a name to try and pronounce, 23, sued the university, campus police, and a half-dozen officers for unspecified monetary damages, claiming they used excessive force and violated the Americans with Disabilities Act in the November 14, 2006 incident. Part of the confrontation was captured on video by a student using a cell phone and broadcast around the world, sparking widespread debate and protest. Well, it wasn't a cell phone. You don't get that kind of time and quality off a cell phone, but that's either here nor there. The student was repeatedly stunned with a taser after he refused to show his student ID card to a security guard. Authorities said the student wouldn't leave Powell Library, went limp, and asked others to join his resistance. Well, this is true, but he was asked twice to show his security card. Student volunteer CSOs asked for him, and he refused then, so they went and called the real ones who had the tasers. Paul Hoffman, an attorney for the UCLA senior, said the ultimate goal of the lawsuit is to force fundamental changes in campus police culture. What everyone saw in the videotape demonstrates that the UCLA Police Department lacks the professionalism that parents of UCLA students expect from a public institution, Hoffman said. The larger goal of the suit is to change the way UCLA police behave and treat people on campus, their discipline and their training. The suit noted that the student suffered from bipolar disorder, but the officers' lack of training meant they treated him with brutality instead of sensitivity, Hoffman said. Well, now we know what his medical condition is. In a statement, acting UCLA Chancellor Norman Abrams said the timing of the student's suit was regrettable, citing the internal UCLA police probe and an outside investigation by Merrick Bobb, who serves as the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors watchdog over the Sheriff's Department. I am encouraging us all once again to await the results of the thorough, comprehensive reviews that are underway, Abrams said. According to the student was in the computer lab of Powell Library working on a history paper when he was approached by a security officer who asked for identification. The student, who was of Iranian descent, was concerned he was being singled out because of his ethnicity, so he told the guards to make the same request of any other student, the suit alleges. The guard refused. We don't know if this was done or not. This is what's alleged. It wasn't captured on videotape. Eventually, the student gathered his belongings and was walking towards the library exit when one of the UCLA officers blocked his path and told him, "You need to leave." The suit alleges there was no further discussion before the officer, identified as Alexis Bicomung, grabbed the student's arm. Concerned about his reaction because of his bipolar disorder, the student went limp. Interesting. Moments later, a second officer identified as Terrence Duran arrived on the scene and grabbed the suspect. The suit claims both officers dragged the student out of the library. In the course of time, yeah, that was on the videotape. At one point, they demanded the student get up or we'll tase you. He remained limp and was tasered. Not quite true, but the videotape shows that. When the student said he suffered from bipolar disorder, I didn't hear that. Maybe somebody else did hear it in the tape, but I didn't hear that there. Duran allegedly responded he didn't know what bipolar has to do with standing up. Yet bipolar disorder doesn't keep you from standing up. The suit alleges the student was tasered multiple times, including more than once after he was handcuffed. True. Other officers at the scene who were named in the suit included Kevin Kilgore, Andrew Akita, and Sergeant Philip Bagulio, a supervisor. Also named was the UCLA Police Chief Carl T. Ross. So, there you have it. This is an update on it. I don't know if anybody actually cares anymore because it's not something to yell and scream about, but I care. I'm paying attention to it. I'm still getting comments 2 months later on videos I posted about the subject back then. So, do I think anything good will come of this? I seriously doubt it. The student did behave badly. As reported by the campus newspaper, the week before this incident, a student was stabbed on campus. Now, if somebody refuses to show their ID for whatever reason, after having had reported in the student newspaper that someone was stabbed on campus, what should you do? Is it surprising that the campus police responded quickly because they still hadn't caught the guy who did the stabbing? But we don't know that. Well, whatever. They also have a policy, as reported in the student newspaper, that passive resistance is not allowed. Now, why is passive resistance not allowed? I have no idea what their reasons are, but I can think of a couple of them. Someone goes apparently passive, so you have to pick him or her up and carry them out. Now, if you noticed, there's a lot of stone where they were, including going down a flight of steps. You can't know what's in someone's mind. You've got them hand and foot, and you're carrying them out because they want to be passive. And suddenly on the steps they decide, I'm not going to be passive anymore, and legs are very strong in every person. You decide to suddenly thrash about while on the steps, causing the cops to drop you, causing maybe the cops to fall themselves, injuring yourself and them in the process. It's possible. You can't know what's in someone's mind. That could be why passive resistance isn't allowed. So, stop and think about that. There's a reason for it. You may not like the policy, you may not like the reason, but if enough cops get injured, can allow passive resistance. How many people have to get injured before you can say passive resistance isn't allowed? I'd like an honest answer to that question. I don't expect one, because, well, cops should. They have to risk their life and limb, and if they get broken bones or whatever because somebody decided not to be passive, well, that's just too damn bad. It's their job to get injured. Right? How stupid is that comment? Anyway, enough of my rant. The federal lawsuit has been filed. We have videotape evidence. that can't disappear. It's just all over too many places. So, and too many people have seen it. Well, have an adequate day.